welcome back to Morrissey and Wine. My name's George.
I'm Chris.
And this is the home of Morrissey and the Smiths. We love the two. We're really big fans. And every month we put out this podcast. So don't forget to subscribe if you're on YouTube or follow us on your podcast app. We always have a guest, or nearly always. This time we are interviewing Gavin from The Holy Hour, the All Cure podcast, to dig into that Robert Smith and Morrissey rivalry.
Yeah, another podcast that's solely about one artist, which is quite interesting. So
yes,
some similarities there with ours.
Absolutely. And, this rivalry has gone on for a long time. So not only between fans of the Smiths and fans of The Cure in the 80s, but between Morrissey and Robert Smith. So we're going to talk about how that rift developed. I mean, was it a real rift or was it something invented by the media,
Yeah. We also have Nanny Bell Reacts again. So she's going to react to a song. Do we know the song yet? Or are we going to find that out?
No, we'll find out. Our Patreon members will have suggested a song.
Yes. Yep.
That is my grandma, of course.
Yes.
So my grandma Val, who comes on every month, doesn't she?
Yeah, and she's great. It's a pleasure.
Yes. Now, we also have the quiz. We always have a trivia quiz. 10 questions about Morrissey and the Smiths that you can play along with at home.
I'm quizzing you this time, so good luck to George.
Yeah, because I always do quite badly. Even though basically my whole life revolves around Morrissey and the Smiths, I can't seem to score more
You can't even do that right, can you, George?
And Chris usually does quite well. We're also going to analyse some lyrics, as we always do.
The song?
The song this time is You Know I Couldn't Last.
Okay.
From You Are the Quarry.
Great.
I think there's some meaty lyrics to dig into there.
Yeah, there is. It's a good one.
And what else?
Well, finally, we'll do a recommendation. So if you love Morrissey, you'll love this. So each month we bring along something, not always physically, but we bring something along that we think that people who like Morrissey, like the Smiths, will also enjoy. So we've got those ready. Yeah,
so it could be a sitcom, it could be a book, it could be a film.
Yeah.
There's lots of things, isn't there, that within the network of Morrissey and the Smiths, it all kind of connects.
Yeah, definitely.
So, without further ado, should we open this wine?
Yes, let's.
I'm going to open mine first. Well, we can do it at the same time, but I'm a bit worried about this cork because every time I try and open something with a cork...
That's quite brave of you. You're not very good normally at opening those ones. That wasn't too bad.
Now, Gary, our producer at Red Eye, has chosen these wines for us. We don't know anything about them. I've got a white and Chris has got a red. And a little bit later on in the podcast, we're going to quiz each other on the tasting notes and see if we can match what the tasting notes say. Mine's a fizzy one.
Yeah, we're getting better, aren't we, at guessing the notes?
Well, you did very well last time, Chris. I didn't do so well.
No. Pattern there, isn't there? Okay.
Yes, there is. So we'll say cheers. Cheers, Chris.
Cheers, George.
Cheers. Oh, that was crap. Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to you at home. And now we're going to go into the quiz. Lovely, lovely wine.
Time for the quiz.
Ooh, and you've done the quiz this time.
Are you ready?
Yeah. No, have you done the quiz yourself, Christopher? Or have you leaned on our very lovely listeners?
Well,
they're lazy.
Well, I did lean on the listeners, but I've got some bonus questions there. But I have made a quiz myself, and as you know, I like to make a theme to the quiz.
Yes.
So
wait, I think I need to do the quiz theme music.
Oh yes, yes.
I see you trying to get out of that, Chris. Very important that I do the quiz theme.
Okay.
I think I know the lyrics off. I think I know the lyrics off by heart, but
okay. So if you want to put your fingers in your ears now, let George do this self-indulgent bit.
You need to grab a bit more wine. Go to the kitchen now. Okay, here we go. This is your chance. Grasp the nettle and prove your mettle. There are people out there who know nothing of this trivia. You've waited all your life, it's quite sad if you stop and think. Never mind that, it's the Morrissey quiz! Yay!
I think in future, if we do that towards the end of the podcast, when I've had more wine, I think I'd probably prefer it a little bit.
And people have dropped off by that point. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, this is meant to be the enticing bit. Anyway. So, the quiz is 10 questions, Morrissey and Smiths related.
Mm-hmm.
This quiz is called Who Said It About Morrissey?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to read a quote from somebody, a celebrity, And you have to guess who said that about Morrissey.
Are you going to give me some multiple choice?
I have got multiple choice, but that's sort of that isn't going to come first. I think you just guess first, or if you're struggling, I'll give you some help. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Man, I think it's going to be very difficult, but yes.
Okay, I've got some multiple choice, but some of them give it away a bit too much.
Okay, let me just get in the zone.
Okay, zone in.
I'm in the zone. Ready.
Okay. Has that helped you in the past? Okay, question number 1. Morrissey wrote a really gorgeous song for me. I'm crazy for that man. And he thinks I'm hip.
Right. Okay. Well, I know that Morrissey wrote Let Me Kiss You for Nancy Sinatra, and then they both recorded it. You can hear a high quality version of that actually. Nancy Sinatra posted recently about it, because previously you could only get this YouTube version, which is very low quality. But anyway, also the fact that that person is saying that Morrissey thinks I'm hip, it sounds like it's someone who's, jokingly was saying I'm a bit too old to be hip, Other people that Morrissey wrote songs for, it's limited, really. I can't think of any obvious answers. So I'm going to say Nancy Sinatra.
Final answer?
Final answer, yeah. Yes. This
Well
is a
done.
good start.
Yeah, well done, well done.
Okay.
That's good workings out as well. But you don't get extra points for that. Question number 2. I'm really close with everyone I've worked with, except the obvious one. And that isn't, sorry.
Okay, do it again.
Sorry, I'm really close to everyone I've worked with, except the obvious one. And it isn't much of a surprise. We're so different.
So this is someone saying it about Morrissey? Morrissey
Yes.
didn't say that?
No, this is things that people said about Morrissey. That's the quiz.
Yeah.
That's the quiz.
Well, when they say it's obvious, you'd presume it's a high-profile rift, falling out, spat. And obviously Mike Joyce comes to mind. Mike Joyce is the kind of person who would say, obviously we didn't, apart from the obvious one. But it kind of sounds like he's talking in the present tense, or like very recently. And obviously they got on okay in the Smiths. It was only afterwards because of the court case. But an obvious rift with Morrissey, I'm going to have to just guess Mike Joyce.
Okay.
But I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, good guess.
But it's wrong.
No, I mean, you said who's an obvious rift with Morrissey? Well, there's Marr.
Right.
So
okay.
so Johnny Marr.
Oh, read me the quote again then. Now I know it's Johnny
Okay,
Marr.
so it's I read it again. I struggled the first time. I'm really close with everyone I've worked with, except the obvious one. And that isn't saying much much of a surprise because we're so different.
Okay. So I was kind of close with the Smiths member, but okay,
but you
fine.
don't. Yeah,
But
okay. Question number 3.
Mm.
I used to piss myself laughing out loud on a bus going into town to buy the NME when he was on the cover. He's one of the best.
Pissed themselves laughing at Morrissey on the enemy.
This is the quote.
Okay.
So yeah.
Right. So if they're still taking the bus
Yeah.
when Morrissey's in the enemy, then they probably weren't famous like at that
At
time.
that point, yeah.
At that time.
Yeah.
Kind of people who read the enemy, but obviously into indie music. Someone that came after the Smiths. I mean, Jarvis Cocker would have read the enemy.
Okay.
Probably, and wasn't famous till after Morrissey.
I can give you some multiple choice.
Okay, yeah.
If useful.
Yeah, do that.
So I'll read the quote once more. So I used to piss myself laughing out loud on the bus going into town to buy the NME when he was on the cover. He's one of the best. Who said this? A. Noel Gallagher. B. Alex Turner. C. Jarvis Cocker. Or D. Liam Gallagher, the other one.
Oh, no, that's difficult because I thought it was Noel, and now you've added Liam to the equation. Liam is more likely to say a phrase like, I was pissing myself. Noel somehow is a little bit...
The posher one.
Well, I guess.
The older brother, the more stately brother.
It's a Gallagher. I'm sure it's a Gallagher. So I'm going to go with, because he's friends with Morrissey, although then Liam did tweet us at one time and said that the Smiths were great. I'm going to go Liam. Final answer. Locked in. Liam Gallagher. Was it Noel?
I think you probably could have half a point because it was one of the Gallaghers.
Right.
But it was Noel. Yeah, Noel. So Yeah, it's a shame.
Damn. Okay.
Okay, question number 4.
Mm-hmm.
We all know how funny Morrissey is. Actually, you know what? I say that sarcastically. His songs are some of the funniest songs I've ever heard in my life.
Oh,
Who said this?
someone once said this, that I remember someone saying that Morrissey's song titles were better than the songs. I kind of can see where they're coming from on that because they're very good titles. And I think that was Burt Bacharach. I'm sure it was. Whoever that is. I mean,
Was he not in Austin Powers?
yeah, that's how I know Burt Bacharach is from Austin Powers too. Or Elvis Costello, was it? Possibly. Maybe it was Elvis Costello.
I can give you some multiple choice.
Multiple choice, please. Quizmaster.
Okay, so A, David Spade.
Okay, not sure who that is.
B, Bill Hader.
Okay.
C, Zach Galifianakis.
Galifianakis.
Whatever you say. Or D, I know who that is, but I don't know how to say his surname. Or D, Ricky Gervais.
Right. Well, I think the first two people, at a risk of offending people who like these particular people, I think you just met them on the bus because I don't know who they are.
It was the 86 to Chilton, yeah.
C is obviously the guy from Hangover. I've never heard him say that he likes the Smiths or Morrissey. And if he does, he should come on this podcast.
He should, yeah.
But I do know that Ricky Gervais is a big Morrissey fan. He obviously has a sense of humour because he's a comedian, and he would see the humour in Morrissey's work. So I'm going to go with D, Green. No, D, D, Ricky Gervais. No. Who was it?
It was Zach.
Well, we should invite him on the
I know,
podcast.
yeah. Would he come? I think he would come on. What's he done since Hangover? He's great.
Quite a lot, but
he was great in that, and that's a really good quote. And I think that's because obviously he's in a lot of comedy films, and we obviously in the previous episode interviewed a comedian. So I'm really personally really interested in the link between Morrissey and comedy.
Yes,
because I think when in any show when we're watching Morrissey on a show, often the crowd are in hysterics, aren't they, at the patter between songs?
Well, anyway. That's just the multiple mental breakdowns that are happening in the audience.
Yeah, and that's just by you.
Yeah, me included. Yeah.
Okay, question number 5. So is it 1 so far?
I've got like 2, haven't I? I don't know.
I think it's 1.
1.5.
Okay, 1.5. I'll give you that, 1.5. Okay, question number 5. He just has a way with words. He's a modern day Shakespeare.
Oh gosh, a modern day Shakespeare. Wow. Well, we never know how history will treat our present. You never know. So could he be thought of that in the pop music world in 500 years' time? Who knows? Someone who says that he's the Shakespeare of whatever they said, modern.
Does that mean that in like 500 years' time, people will find him really boring?
Yeah. To study him in school.
Yeah, you have to say, oh God, not Morrissey again. That really hard to understand Morrissey.
Yeah.
Morrissey modern adaptations.
The abridged version.
Oh God.
If they said Shakespeare, it's kind of like get the impression that it's not someone that's very bookish because it's quite an obvious reference to make, Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare's, yeah. It's not Kafka, is it?
No. And it's obviously someone who appreciates the literary quality. Do you have any multiple choice for this?
I do, yeah.
Okay, let's have multiple choice.
So you said someone who appreciates literature. And So A, Wayne Rooney. B, Russell Brand. C, Joey Barton.
Yeah.
Or D, Eric Cantona. Cantona.
Cantona.
So you got 5.
My dad says that when he gets up from the sofa. He goes, Cantona. Who was
funny man?
Who was the first one?
So it was Wayne Rooney.
Wayne Rooney, yeah. I don't think there's any link there.
Russell Brand.
Definitely is a link there.
Joey Barton.
Definitely.
Eric Cantona.
Right, okay. I think it's one of the 2 footballers. Eric Cantona was a footballer, wasn't he?
Yeah, did he recently die?
Not sure. The only one that I'm sure of that is big into Morrissey is Joey Barton. And obviously he was in Spent the Day in Bed, the video. Yeah. So I'm going to say Joey Barton. Yes.
Well done.
I was kind of right about not being like really into literature, like an obvious reference.
Yeah, it was good actually, yeah, because you could have gone, if it's the obvious, there might have been Russell Brand, but maybe you're right, maybe Russell Brand would have used someone a bit more niche than Shakespeare.
No.
Question number 6. I rate Morrissey as one of the best lyricists in Britain, for me, he's up there with Brian Ferry.
From Roxy Music. Sorry, I had a complete brain gap there. Okay, up there with Brian Ferry. That's really hard. I don't know. I can't think of any famous people that are really into Roxy Music and Morrissey like that. I can't think of that connection. Do we have multiple choice?
We do.
Let's go for multiple choice, please.
Okay. We have A, DB, David Bowie.
Yeah.
B, Elton John.
Okay. It's not either of those two, I think.
C, Sting.
Yeah.
And D, Paul Weller. From?
The Jam. The Jam? Paul Weller?
Yeah.
It's from The Jam, yeah.
Oh, okay, I thought it was from The Who. So those are the choice.
You maybe could think about it now. Right. David Bowie, no, I don't think he ever said anything like that about Morrissey. He said a couple of nice things, but I don't think he's ever said that.
No. Who's next?
Because he was a selfish bastard. No. First one was...
Elton John?
Yeah, Elton John doesn't like Morrissey and Morrissey doesn't like Elton John, as far as we know. So it's one of the last two, either Paul Weller or
Sting.
Well, I think I've never heard a Sting quote about Morrissey, so I'm going to say Paul Weller.
Paul Weller.
Yeah, I'm going to lock it in. Oh, who was it then?
It was the one who it obviously wasn't. It was Bowie.
Really?
Yeah.
Can I hear the quote again?
Okay. I rate Morrissey as one of the best lyricists in Britain. For me, he's up there with Brian Ferry.
Wow.
I know.
No, he's not the selfish bastard that I thought he was.
No.
David Bowie.
I thought you said Elton John was... Oh, no. David Bowie.
I
We know Elton John is.
I don't really think that about Bowie, just for the record. But
No.
Okay, the next question.
Okay, question number 7. So you've got 2.5 so far.
Great.
Which isn't too bad, is it, for you?
For me.
How are you doing at home? Okay, so as a performer, there was nobody better than Morrissey was. This person think Morrissey's dead. As a performer, there was no one better than Morrissey.
Is that the full quote?
Oh, okay, there is. Yeah, that's the full quote.
As a performer, there was no one better than Morrissey.
Have a little think about that.
Well, okay. I mean, there was no one better than Morrissey. They're probably talking about the Smiths era. Oh, did you see that? Chris, you mustn't do that on camera because it's disgusting.
We don't want to waste a drop, do we?
Yeah, but no one else can drink it now.
That's the point.
This is really hard. It's such a short quote. All I can think of is someone that liked the Smiths a lot.
Let me give you a list of people.
Okay.
So, as a performer, there was nobody better than Morrissey. Who said this? Peter Hook.
Yeah.
Mike Joyce.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Wilson. Andy Rourke.
I think it's Mike Joyce or Andy Rourke because I think I got that vibe that they were talking about the Smiths when they said was. And I can imagine someone in the Smiths saying it like that, like it had already passed, you know. So was it Mike Joyce or Andy Rourke? If it was Mike Joyce, he might have been is the word magnanimous? He might have been in a sort of generous mood years after the lawsuit. And he was saying, you know, to be fair, there was no one like Morrissey. Or was it Andy Rourke? I'm going to say it was Mike Joyce. Final answer. Yes.
Well done, it was, yeah, Mike Joyce, which is great. And it was good working, very astute of you to learn the was bit. That was very good.
Thank you.
Some background work there. Well done. Okay. This one, okay, question number 8.
Mm-hmm.
He's such an actor.
He's such an actor. Oh, it sounds like I'm getting vibes of like Kathy Burke or Alan Bennett, J.K. Rowling, someone like that. Good sense of humor, likes Morrissey. I'm going to have multiple choice, but I am kind of veering towards someone like Kathy Burke.
Okay, I can see that. So the choices are Mark E. Smith.
Yeah, from The Fall.
Billy Corgan. Who's that?
I don't know. From the questions you wrote, by the way, you don't know who they are. Okay, so...
No, I have some help. Robert Smith.
Yeah.
Or John Lydon. I don't know who the B was. We'll get rid of B.
Marky Smith, The Fall. Robert Smith, The Cure. John Lydon,
from Sex Pistols.
Sex Pistols.
Johnny Rotten.
Yeah. He was such an actor, they said.
British butter.
Well, I never heard this quote before, and I don't know who said it, but it sounds most like something that John Lydon would say. So I'm going to go for D, John Lydon.
Okay.
Is that D?
John Lydon.
From the Sex Pistols? Yeah. Oh.
No, so I was hoping you would get this one right because it obviously is quite relevant to the episode.
Oh, was it
so
Robert
it was
Smith?
Robert Smith. And I think, to be fair, you took it in I think initially you'd geared yourself towards it being a bit of a lighthearted, but I imagine maybe it was a bit of a stinging sort of, he's such an actor. Yeah, so yeah.
I never liked The Cure anyway. It's a lie.
Okay, so well done. I mean, well, done. So question number 9.
Mm-hmm.
It is, if we do that, and that's discarding the art because of the artist, we cheat ourselves from having a fully realised understanding.
I know that. I know.
Yeah, I know you would. It's a recent news thing.
It has come up in the last couple.
So you're not
of
having
months.
multiple choice for this one, then?
No, I know who it is. So this person made the comments in an interview with the Sunday Times, and we reported it. And I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was an intelligent opinion, but I thought it was also very LA. And if you read the full thing that she said, it's very kind of do you know what I mean? Hippy dippy, everything's relative. Anyway, it was Julia Roberts.
Well done.
The little known actress from a little cult film called Pretty Woman. It was Pretty Woman, wasn't it? Julia Roberts.
Yeah, she did that film. She did a couple more, I think, as well. So yeah, that was a nice thing recently, wasn't it? That we learned that she was a big fan.
Yes, of the Smiths, I think, rather than Morrissey solo, but yeah. Okay, is it my time for my final question?
It is your final question, yeah. Okay, so final question. We cannot overlook the fact he has written a vast and extraordinary catalogue.
Argos catalogue.
Yeah, you can't. I don't think they're around anymore. I think
no, they are still making the Argos catalogue. They call it
still massive.
Yeah, and they call it the gift guide. They don't call it the Argos catalogue. I mean,
been bought by Sainsbury's, hasn't it?
Yeah. Yes. And if you live outside the UK, you won't know. I'll explain very briefly. Argos is a retailer that sells lots of gifts and stuff. And there used to be this catalogue, didn't there? A massive Bible of all the products. Then you would circle what you want for Christmas. Your parents would just say they'd look through. I mean, they wouldn't just get something else. But yes, the Laminated Book of Dreams, as Bill Bailey called it once.
It is great.
So if you can just repeat the quote for me.
Okay, so the quote is, "We cannot overlook the fact he has written a vast and extraordinary catalogue."
Yeah. Okay, well, someone is clearly defending Morrissey and saying, yeah, okay, like he's said some stuff that I don't agree with, but we can't overlook the fact that he has a massive catalogue of songs and work, which presumably includes List of the Lost. I have no idea.
Do you want some sort of do you want some list?
Clues or multiple choice, yeah.
Multiple choice. Tom York from
Radiohead.
I'm going to see them soon.
Okay.
In the Millennium Dome where Morrissey's playing. Nick Cave.
Yeah.
Johnny Greenwood.
Yeah.
Or Morrissey himself.
That's funny. These could all be Morrissey, couldn't they? Well, Nick Cave recently, well, not that recently, a few months ago, he has this email newsletter that goes to his fans, and he wrote a mini kind of essay on why Morrissey is very good.
He did, which was really interesting, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm going to say it was probably Nick Cave, because it was probably part of that little essay.
Okay.
So that's my final answer.
Yes. Well done, George, yeah.
Thank you.
That's 4.5, I think.
Yeah, okay. Well,
I think 5.5, 4.5, but still not bad.
And in fairness, that's quite a hard quiz.
Yeah, it is. It is, to be fair, yeah.
So shall we just bump it up to 6 out of 10?
You don't get a handicap for it, no. But no, well done. Was it okay? Did it pass your litmus test of, is it a good quiz?
It was quite a good quiz, yeah.
It was all right, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just don't do it again.
Next time I'll do a different kind of quiz.
Yeah. I'm going to pour a little bit more of this wine. And why don't you test me on the tasting notes?
Yes, okay. So let me get the notes.
Pour a little bit of this lovely bubbly, because it is bubbly.
So it's a Producto de España,
See,
which means it's from Spain.
No, Mr. Faulty. On these trays.
Or not this place. All over the place.
Wait, don't tell me too much. I don't have to test it.
Yeah, so taste it, see what you think.
It smells...
So it's a sparkling, Spanish sparkling wine.
Yes, and it smells very summery and kind of getting something, but I don't know what that is. It's like, I think it's the sweetness that I can smell.
Okay.
And when I taste it...
Yeah. What you getting?
It's like, can something be sweet and sharp? Because I think it's kind of sweet and sharp.
Okay. Have you got any, tell me what sort of, any sort of flavours, any flavours of particular things in there? Taste it. All of it.
I'm trying to, I don't know. I guess there's probably like a citrusy kind of taste.
Yes, that's correct. It's got a citrus taste.
It's
any other kind of specific fruit?
See, I don't eat a lot of fruit.
No, you don't eat any. What, do you eat any fruit?
No, I eat, just to make it clear, I always say this, I eat all vegetables. I just don't really like fruit.
You got a phobia of fruit.
Too sweet.
I offered him a grape earlier. You should have seen his face.
I don't know. You're going to have to help me.
Okay, so it's got aromas of green apple. Have you had that?
Ah, yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Apple,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah.
And is it crisp and refreshing?
Crisp is kind of like the sharpness that I meant. And it's got a sweetness.
Has it got a gooseberry taste?
No, I don't taste any gooseberry.
That's good because I made it up.
Yeah. Yes. I knew he was doing that.
Okay, so it says here it's clean and pleasant, and it says it's appealing to both women and gents and those in between.
Is that what it says?
Or who've not made their mind up. It does say women and gents, which is quite strange, isn't it?
So everyone will like this,
Well,
with the exception of those who don't fall into those categories.
yeah, the non-binaries hate it. They hate it.
They hate it.
They can't stand it. They've made loads of complaints about this wine. So a nice Spanish wine. So am I going to try mine now?
You try yours, and I've got the tasting notes here that Gary, our producer, has sent me.
I've been drinking. I'm halfway through the bottle. It is nice. Very different to last time though, because Gary got us my bottle last time, and it was quite a sweet wine. This isn't so sweet.
Okay. So
it's quite rich and fruity.
Yeah,
it is fruity, but not in the same way. The other one had sort of like cherry flavors, and was a bit sweeter. This is a bit more smoky and maybe like oak.
Okay. So you've correctly established that it's rich and intense. There are fruit notes. What kind of fruit are you picking up on?
Dark fruits.
Okay. Well, I think that's probably right because it says here it has blackberry and plum.
Okay, notes. Yeah. Because the other one was more cherry, so really sweet. This is definitely richer and sort of, but also a bit like smoky and oaky and things. I get that.
Yes. Okay. And yeah, so it's a red wine from the southern Rhone Valley in France. It's got uses red grapes. Obviously, it's rich and intense. It has notes of blackberry and plum, undertones of pepper and licorice.
Okay.
Yeah, and
this is more bitter, like I said. Yeah.
So Chris's is a J. Boulard Le Verdier from, as I say, southern Rhone Valley in France. Mine is a Cordon Nuit. Is that right? Sparkling,
I think so, yeah.
Sparkling wine. But we'll put a little note in the description of the podcast. So
and do we know what the prices were for these?
These are both around £10.
Right, okay.
Oh my God. I haven't peed myself. It's just a bit of sparkling wine. For those who listen to the audio version, I just spilled some wine on my lap, which is the first time I've ever done that on this podcast.
I needed a clean anyway.
So next we're going to go into Nanny Val.
Great, yes we are, yeah. She's not coming to a studio though.
No, we're going to do it on a video call. She's a little bit under the weather.
Really impressive that your grandma can do that. My grandma could do a video call. She can barely even answer the phone. Yeah. She's really high tech.
So let's find out what Nanny Val has chosen from our Patreon subscribers. Cheers to you,
Cheers,
Chris.
George.
Cheers to you at home.
Cheers.
Let's have a chat with Nanny Val. Hello, Nan. Welcome back to Morrissey and Wine. How are you?
Fine. A little bit nervous, but okay.
You see, I think you've been doing it so long now that you wouldn't get nervous still, but I do as well, when we're recording the podcast.
I'm always afraid I'm going to let you down or let your audience down.
No, they love you. So as usual, Nan, I sent you a selection of songs that were all suggested by our Patreon subscribers. Pop them in a playlist for you, and you had a listen. Which is the song that you've chosen this time?
I've chosen I Am Not a Dog on a Chain.
Okay. So that's from Morrissey's 2020 album of the same name. So this is
Yeah.
the title track from that album.
Yeah.
So what did you make of it on first listen?
I do like it a lot. And it goes from very gentle sort of lyrics where he's singing in his, you know, sort of posh voice. And then he goes into quite strident when he's given us a message, you know, and then it reverts again to the quiet I am not a dog on a chain. But I liked it a lot. And there's a big instrumental at the end and that as well, so it's good.
So it's kind of like it reminds me a little of Irish Blood, English Heart in the sense that it's almost like he's setting out how he feels about the world, and he's sort of it's his manifesto, isn't it? You know, what were some of the key messages that came through in the lyrics for you?
Well, I do think he's quite a visionary, and I think this was 2020, and I think he was already much more aware than probably the average person of how things were going, and that we were going to be thrown a lot of information that often wasn't true, you know. And he's telling us to use your own brain and think for yourself, and don't be fooled by, you know, what's being chucked at you, you know, which we get obviously a massive amount at the moment with AI and that, which particularly for people my age is really, you know, overwhelming. Because you put something in and then the what do you call them, algorithms or whatever they're called, they then send all more things about that to reinforce it, you know, and it's very hard to know fact from fiction. And I think this is what he was telling us at the time, you know, be aware because this is happening and you need to really use your own brain and think for yourself.
Yes. Now he goes as far as to say, "I do not read newspapers; they're troublemakers." What do you think of that?
Yeah. Well, you being a journalist, I suppose that hurt you. And that is, you know, obviously one of your main, your ethos is to always this integrity and truth, isn't it? You know, I think the real journalists, that is how they feel, you know. But obviously they've been very tested recently, even here with the BBC. So there are lots of problems.
So he talks, like you say, it's almost like he's singing against the idea of being brainwashed, isn't he? He's saying, think for yourself. And
Absolutely.
he says, if you open your nervous mouth, you'll feel the words come streaming out. What do you think he's like imploring people to say with that voice?
Well, I think it's, I need to look at the actual, what I was thinking, the quote, but there is a quote, isn't there? It's, sorry.
That's okay.
It's about people, if they don't speak out, it's when.
He says it in a careful and civilized way. They'll sculpture all your views. So open up your nervous mouth.
Yeah, but what is the well-known saying about it only takes for people to be silent, not to speak out? That's the one I'm thinking of, but I can't find my quote, I'm afraid.
Or are you thinking of all it takes for evil to prosper is for good people to stay silent? It's that sort of thing, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm thinking. And I think that is what he's implying. We all need to, if we see something wrong, we need to speak out. And it goes on afterwards. And I think this was probably what instigated this particular song. People seem to be confused about it, but he says about Canada Goose.
Mm-hmm.
Read that bit to me about Canada Goose.
He says, maybe I'll be skinned alive by Canada Goose because of my views.
Yeah, and you obviously, you know what that is. He was one of the main people that went with PETA, and he took lots of PETA people, the animal rights people, to Canada with him on his tour in 2019. And he wrote to the Canada Goose Company because he was so against, they were trapping coyotes and using them in their parkas and using the Canada Goose eider, you know, the feathers from the Canada geese to use in these very expensive coats. And I remember years ago, I was walking along with someone in central London, and the Canada Goose, their flagship store is in Regent Street. And as we walked past, she had a Canada Goose park on with all the fur trim, and they were very expensive. Even then, they were £700 or £800 then. And I didn't realise what was happening, because suddenly there was all these people with placards started shouting at us, and I said, what's going on? What have we done? And she said, it's because I've got my park on. We walked past, but they were, very anti-fur, obviously, and everything. But because of Morrissey, I mean, he even wrote to the CEO of Canada Geese, and they did stop using, first of all, they stopped using the fur from the coyotes. And then eventually, only recently, I think in 24, they eventually got rid of all those component parts. So he was very instrumental in getting that stopped. A very big thing.
So do you think Morrissey is sort of, it seems like he's saying, I'm being attacked because all I do is tell the truth, and that's why people are out to get me, and I'll be, skinned alive. Do you think that that's Morrissey's whole problem? Is it just because he tells the truth, or is there some part that Morrissey has to accept blame for, why he gets attacked all the time?
Well, I mean, I expect there were a lot of people against what he was doing then, but overall, eventually it pans out that he seems to be in the right. I mean, eventually the majority agree with him, whereas in the beginning he's the minority. But because I think he is so forward thinking, I think that he's not afraid to say what he thinks. He's in a position, obviously, he can do. He's wealthy enough and important enough to say exactly what he thinks. But more often than not, I think he's proven to be absolutely right in what he says.
Well, yeah, as you know, we have been discussing this recently, me and Chris, and in a lot of ways, he does seem to predict things that come along and how people are going to feel a little bit further down the line. So, what did you think? What did you think of this line when he says, "I'm too clever to be robbed"? What did he mean by that?
Robbed of his thoughts, I suppose. Like, you can't, if he's got something in his mind, no false news or media or anything like that is going to rob him of those thoughts. He's very consistent in what he believes, I think. It would be.
I always thought, I mean, yeah, it's always confused me. I thought it was just Morrissey being Morrissey saying, "I'm so amazing that I couldn't be robbed," but that doesn't really make sense. And I suppose your idea makes a bit more sense. Is it so? You said to me earlier that this kind of starts off slow, then it gets faster, and then it slows down again. This is a kind of Morrissey on a soapbox song, isn't it? And he's kind of shouting at you his thoughts.
Yeah.
When you compare this to a more light-hearted Morrissey song that you might have listened to, what do you like that style?
Well, it's again, he's getting a message across, and I suppose this is his way of doing it, sort of being gentle and saying, this is what happens, and make sure your mind's not molded. And then suddenly he says to you, you need to be, fervent. You need to make sure it doesn't happen to you, because you need to think about it. And as I do, he's saying, I think, and speak out,
So if you were to think about all of the songs that you've listened to from Morrissey so far, would this be near the top of the list or near the bottom?
I like this would be high up. We better not give the scores, because we need to reassess those and, put them in an order that we can all see it. The big scoreboard's a little bit unwieldy.
We've received your criticism on the scoreboard, and we will address that.
It would be fairly high up, because he's so different, and this is something he feels so strongly about, and I think that always, tends to give it a lot of force and a lot of emphasis, So I think it's good. I didn't quite get the end all about the dead are dead, ice cold, and all that sort of thing. But he then says to where they can't be overcharged. So again, I think it's probably related to the Canada Goose, and saying like you've used the animals to keep you warm, but now you're dead and you're cold and you're not breathing, and you can't be overcharged. You're gone.
Well, it's
Again, sure, but it's very confusing.
yeah, because doesn't he say at least they won't be dying twice at the end? And it's such a strange way to end the
Yeah,
song.
yeah. I didn't honestly couldn't put anything. And where he says about his niece, he said, because of my, he might be killed, because of my fleet, because of my views, because of the truth, because of my fleece, because of my niece. And I wondered if one of his nieces ever bought one of these and he found out that she was actually wearing one. It seems a fun, unless he just put it in because it rhymed with fleece, but I don't know. Just possible because he must have quite a lot of nieces in his family, a big family. So I wonder if he found her one day in one of these parties.
It has. You've listened to Bobby, Don't You Think They Know? I presume. Have you listened to that one before?
No.
Well, I'll send you a link so you can. But that one is almost a little bit like nonsense. Some of the stuff that he says, it's very surreal, and this kind of has parallels with that. I think just some slightly surreal ingredients thrown into the mix. So,
Right. And I usually listen. I only listen to the ones that people send me. So, that's not been one that's been sent to me in the ones that I have to listen to and select from. So I didn't know that one at all.
I'll send you a link to it. So if you want to suggest the next song for Nanny Bell to listen to, then just become a member of our Patreon. Nan listens to all of the songs that you suggest, and she picks one that she has the most to talk about. For now, we'll just say thank you very much, Nan, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, darling. Bye.
Now we are going to analyse the lyrics of a song as we do every month. What have we got this time, Chris?
So we've got You Know I Couldn't Last. This is from You Are the Quarry. So
Yes.
It's the Morrissey comeback album. The album that I chose in my last off mic as my defining album, if I had to choose one.
Yes, our off mic bonus episodes, which you get as a Patreon subscriber. We do that every month. Chris and George off mic. Yes, you did. So it's 2004. As you say, comeback. So Morrissey had been without a record deal. He was kind of in the wilderness from the mid to late 90s to 2004. He had a lot of these songs that he was performing them live, I think, and he did some BBC radio sessions. We weren't actually following Morrissey at that time, but
We were born, were we?
well, yes, we were. But looking back, this is a very formative time for Morrissey. So we've picked You Know I Couldn't Last
Yes.
because why? It's just got chunky lyrics, hasn't it?
It is. It's a beefier, pardon the pun, song
Yes.
for the album, because a lot of these songs in this album, although great, they are quite thin on the lyrics. So this is more so.
Yes, there's more lyrics in this. So the whispering may hurt you, but the printed word might kill you.
Yeah.
I think this is, so obviously he is talking about, it would appear, critics' reviews of his work.
Yeah.
But it takes on an extra level of meaning in this current age of social media, because you wonder, so he's talking about the printed word. So there's a difference between whispering, which is like rumors and whatever, or the printed word that might kill you because it's printed. Where does the internet lie on that spectrum? Would Morrissey feel the same way? Would he say that, the whispering may hurt you, but the tweets might kill you?
I think so. I think it's the same concept. I think the idea is that it's there in black and white, whether that's printed or on a screen. I think it's someone's taken the time to write it down and to stake a claim on that word.
Yes.
Whereas before that, or the whispering is it's just that, isn't it? It's whispering. It's not as serious, maybe, or not as deep. Because it's an interesting lyric to relate to, isn't it, for the average person? Because obviously, I mean, maybe especially then, maybe it was harder to relate to, but now the fact that anyone can be a keyboard warrior and not, even if it's not printed, it's on the screen, they can say things about anybody, can't they now? So maybe that song has become more relatable, or that lyric has become more relatable now than it was before.
Yes, I think that's a very good point. And I think also we're opening this song, he's setting the stage, he's saying this is a song about me and other artists. So yes, we can have some insight into this song personally because of social media and stuff, but really this is a song about Morrissey's career and about other artists with similar careers. The gel ignite loaded and aiming right between your eyes. What's Morrissey saying here?
So what do you think gel ignite means?
Well, I know what gelignite is.
It's like dynamite, isn't
Yes,
it?
it's an explosive.
Yeah, it's like dynamite.
I
Yeah.
believe.
Well, it's interesting because looking at it, this lyric, especially for the so for You Or the Quarry, the album title, and the cover of the album, where Morrissey's holding a Tommy gun, I think that's the gun.
Yeah.
We don't know much about guns in England, but obviously that reminds me of the cover of the album, and maybe that's where that comes from a little bit, because if you're the quarry, you're being targeted, and this person's been aiming right between the eyes.
Yeah, that's a very good point, because also this record was released on the label Attack, wasn't it? So everything about it is like, I'm attacking the world. You might have just made a very good point there, Christopher.
Don't sound so surprised.
Gary, can you release the confetti? Because Chris has just made a good point.
Episode 20, first good point.
No, that's not, I'm only joking. But no, that's a very good point. There's a sense of attack, and Morrissey, so he's saying, don't let the blue eyes fool you. We all know as a fan, he has very blue eyes. Say, don't let them fool you, because I'm attacking now, and I'm so attacking, I'm like an explosive. And at times with this song taking off.
I really like that lyric, "Someone please take me home." I have a badge, made a badge with that on it.
I don't know why.
No one's taking me up on the offer, but
I like that line as well. And I've always thought it's almost like he's an alien. And he's been like Superman. He's come from the sky and landed on Earth, lived there for, by this point, 40, 50 years. And he's saying, I want to go home now. This world isn't the world that I was expecting.
I'm just passing through here looking for somewhere civilized.
Yes. But crucially, what we're getting to in this song is he's saying the CDs, the T-shirts, the promos, God knows, I couldn't last. So we're addressing the fact that Morrissey is a commercial business as well as a authentic artist. And, later on in the songs we'll come to, there's the lines about the cash register ringing on his back. So he's bringing in this idea that, yes, I am true, and yes, I am authentic and genuine, but I also make money, and he's acknowledging that.
Yeah.
And I think he does more and more in his later career, actually, because obviously recently we've had the song Sure Enough, the Telephone Rings.
Yeah.
Who Wants My Money Now?
And you can't get away from that, can you? That is a business, and you have people to pay. I think people, especially Morrissey fans, I feel like it's especially a Morrissey thing that it's almost a bit, I guess it's a generally English thing as well, to be a bit repulsed by talking about money and certain things. Like, well, this is powerful music. What's money compared to this? What's money compared to our love to Morrissey? But obviously, you can't stay in 5-star hotels if you're not getting paid.
Yes.
And maybe some of the money comes from, having to tour, which I'm sure Morrissey loves, but also all the re-releases and deals that are made, which you don't really. I don't know how you feel, but I think Morrissey fans don't like thinking about the deal side of things. I think other artists, I don't know, like I think they accept it more. Like when Lady Gaga was recently in Manchester and tickets on the floor were like £500 to £1,000, and they were just okay with that.
Yes, there is certainly a queasiness in the Morrissey fan community about Morrissey making money. I know that I once said to a friend of ours, something about, because we just come out of the gig, I was like, well, at least he's got a good paycheck and he can go to a nice hotel now. And our friend was kind of, a bit repulsed by that suggestion, and that's fair enough. That's their opinion. But, Morrissey does have an expensive lifestyle, I think, and he deserves it. And he has to support it. And, it's not a charity. It's not the Morrissey Support Foundation. It's Morrissey, the pop artist in a capitalist culture. It's got to accept that, I think. But
and we know he has nice taste. You can't live like that on a dime.
I mean, he grew up without a lot of money, and he knows that well and doesn't want to go back to it, I don't think. And that's, bloody fair enough. I think there is a devoted fan base for sure. I think when you look back at footage, for example, footage outside Wolverhampton Civic Hall for the first Morrissey solo gig, teenagers, it's nearly all teenagers, and they're wearing the Smiths t-shirts and they're going crazy. Like, that was then. And as Morrissey says later in the song about every ist and every ism thrown my way, we know that we've shed a lot of Morrissey fans along the way because they've disagreed with their interpretation of Morrissey's views on this, that, the next thing. And he's saying, when you're a teenager, the Smiths is kind of like the ultimate teenage band in some ways. I mean, a lot of bands could lay claim to that, but in some ways, because it's all about adolescent feelings and it inspires such fervent obsession from adolescents, he's kind of acknowledging that goes away as you get older and your emotions smooth out,
But even so, when you go to Morrissey shows now, there's a mix of ages. It's not just people who listen to him then.
Yeah.
It's loads of young people.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's like, I'm just saying, if you compare like the movie footage from the TV footage from the 80s, where it's all teenagers, now when you go to a Morrissey gig, it's a wide range of ages. It's not all teenagers.
No.
The critics who can't break you, unwittingly they make you.
Yeah. So I suppose this has been something that's true throughout Morrissey's career, to give it a dirty term, in music, is that I suppose that in a way is Morrissey's take on the Warhol. All publicity is good publicity. Is that Warhol?
No, all publicity is good publicity. I don't know who's. I think
that might be Wild.
You might be looking for the only thing. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah, okay, but who's that by?
I don't know who said that.
It's either Warhol or Wild or another gay show off. But yeah, I think the point there is that's Morrissey's take on that lyric. It's almost like they print bad things, but they're still printing or whatever. That's how I take that one. Is that and by giving Morrissey that platform and to be, because he obviously, as we know in interviews, he can be quite funny and charming, but also can be quite stubborn if he's not keen, and that maybe they don't like that because they can't deal with that. We know we all have friends that know about Morrissey and have heard one snippet of a conversation and think they don't get the sort of nuance, and they just think, oh, he's just a bit of a prick.
Yeah, I think on a very minute scale, my job involves something that is put to the public, an article in a local newspaper or website. It gets comments, and the comments are usually horrible, but they do shape you, because some people in my line of work will say I never read the comments, and that's fine. I always do. And they do shape you, because sometimes they have very good points. And some critics of Morrissey's work, Morrissey has probably thought, that's a good point, actually, I won't do that again. I mean, not that he would ever admit it, but I think this maybe what he's getting at here is that they try to break you, but somehow there's a kernel of truth in what they're saying, and it molds your output,
Yeah, and I think, since doing this, we've had comments, to be fair, mostly nice ones, thank you. But there has been some that are, I think that it must take a really tough person to be able to deal with that, especially Morrissey, who's probably had way more than his fair share of hard comments to swallow.
Yeah.
And I think that shows a lot. Maybe this song's talking about that a little bit.
I know, people say, oh, Morrissey's a bitter old man now. You wonder why he's got a sense of bitterness, because he's been dealing with this crap his whole life.
And how can you, I don't know, it must be hard.
So evil, legal eagles and northern leeches.
Accountants rampant.
So we know, I think that I might have got this from Simon Goddard's Mozopedia, but I think there's a pretty strong theory that northern leeches refers to...
Have we done northern leeches? Was that on that bit?
Thought it was.
But we haven't got to that yet.
Well, it's around this point. Northern leeches, the theory goes that's Mike Joyce and, to a lesser extent, Andy Rourke. Evil, legal eagles, same kind of avenue. Morrissey's apparently always being chased with legal things and money and stuff. Yeah. So it's this sense of...
And accountants after his tax.
Yeah.
You have to pay tax.
It's this sense of being surrounded by bureaucracy, and I think he talks about stinging bureaucracy in Maladjusted.
Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. Morrissey hates that shit. I hate that shit. You hate that. We all hate that.
Yeah, it's not nice.
I was going to say every level-headed person, but I'm not sure I'm one of those. But most people hate this kind of crap, and that's what Morrissey's talking about. So every ist and every ism thrown my way to stay.
Yeah, so I suppose this is getting at as Morrissey's always had the accusations, because he dares to have intelligent conversations or sing about things that aren't, I would say, standard things, and be a bit daring with them as well, and sing about things that are maybe some people wouldn't touch.
Yeah.
That obviously that then is a bit risky, and people can, on the face of it, see that as being a concerning or problematic is a word that I hate, but is always used.
Well, I think that, Morrissey has a great level of self-awareness. I mean, I did see something recently where someone said, "Oh, my psychiatrist said you have a great level of self-awareness," and I said, "I think that's the problem," But he does. And even just recently, a couple of months ago, whatever it was, the Turkey gigs were cancelled because at least it appeared they were cancelled because people presumed that Morrissey was pro-Israel in the war, and that's an ist or an ism.
It is, and I think that's really key on this point because it really concerned me that was the case, because often things like some of Morrissey's songs, because I know somebody who said to me, "Oh yeah, but he did a song called Asian Rut," and that obviously means that he's ist, But I think that the point there is, if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's kind of the opposite. It's from that point of view of dealing with that situation. If he's putting himself in the shoes of somebody who is in a new place. So I think people don't understand that. And the just to touch on the Turkey gigs, really interesting because it shows. I mean, from what I understand, that was like quite senior in Turkey. That was decided that it was almost like it couldn't happen. I don't know what the deal was there, but if you actually listen to any of the songs that Morrissey sings about Israel, it's very much around the people, and they can't answer for what armies do. But that's also to make it quite depressing, I suppose. It's like Manchester, my city, recently. What happened in the where there was a synagogue attacked. It's exactly the same point where Morrissey has sang about Israel and the people there. And in the song, he literally goes out of his way to make the point that he's obviously singing about the people and not about what armies do and what governments do, because you can't always control that, can you? I mean, we didn't, Tony Blair was our prime minister. We didn't vote to go to those wars, but we were voted for him. So we're as guilty as the Israelis because of what Israel's doing.
God, I'm so tense right now. You've mentioned Tony Blair, a horrible, a synagogue was terrible, and Israel. I'm like getting really nervous now.
And let's just pause. Okay, that's fine. My point there is that Morrissey sings about that, and he explains that he can't answer for what armies do.
Yeah, great. No, you're making a very fair point. I'm just nervous.
You're always nervous, but it's quite serious to me because I feel like these shows have been cancelled, and I don't think people who they've just looked at the surface and decided that Morrissey is cancelable because of that. I think that's quite important.
It is important. It's just the way of the world. But he ends with "and the squalor of the mind," which I think is weird because it's like it's a real diversion from the whole song, which makes sense. He brings in this new element right at the end, which is a very Morrissey thing to do. Say, "Oh, okay, we've had all this intellectual discussion, but don't forget about the squalor of the mind and how that kind of."
But does it not relate? Because he's talking about the money and the money that comes from the music industry if you play it right. But is it? I mean, I always take this lyric to mean that a lot of Morrissey's songs are about quite difficult situations, whereas if you have a comfortable lifestyle, which is something that obviously isn't sang about in the Smiths, then your life, Morrissey's life now is very different to when he started out. Maybe the squalor of the mind is when you can live in luxury hotels and your worries are much different. And probably I think anyone sensible would say your worries are probably less urgent if you have money, because although you may still have complex issues that you're dealing with, you're not going to starve.
Yeah.
And you're probably going to have quite a relaxing lifestyle. So the urgency isn't there that would have been there in the days when he was hopelessly poor. Or something like that.
Well, that's I Couldn't Last, and from You Are the Quarry, 2004. Interested to hear your interpretation of this song, if it differs from ours.
Yeah, how can people tell us about their interpretations?
Well, obviously we're on basically every social media platform going,
including ones I didn't know existed.
Yeah, but we also have Patreon.
What's Fred's?
Fred's. Well, it's TH to start with.
Fred's to me was a shop in Elverston. It was a Fred's shop. It was a corner shop.
Yeah. I think I remember that as well.
Yeah.
No, anyway, you're getting distracted. Patreon. We do have a Patreon. That's a thing where you pay £4.50 a month or $5, around that sort of mark, wherever you are in the world. And it's like a membership thing and you get certain benefits. So there's the WhatsApp chat, which is probably a really good place to let us know your interpretations of this song. So that's got about 100 fans in it, all followers of the podcast, big Morrissey Smith fans who are really knowledgeable. You can listen to the back catalogue of our interviews. You get the full interviews on Patreon. We only do a kind of 20-minute version in the podcast. So we've got, I think on there we've got the full interview with Stephen Street, Mark Nevin, Alan White.
Boz Bora.
Bosbora, yeah, I don't know. I think Bosbora was only a 20-minute interview, so I don't think we had the full one on
You have to get
Patreon.
Boz back.
Getbosback.com. So with Patreon, you get the full unedited interviews, the WhatsApp chat. You get Chris and George off mic, which is a bonus monthly episode where we talk about topics safe in the knowledge that it's just our Patreon members who can listen to us.
Maybe I should have saved that political bit for.
Maybe you should have. You can choose the next song that Nanny Val reacts to. You put your suggestions in Patreon, then I make a playlist for my nan, and she listens to them all, chooses the one she wants to react to. And that is just £4.50 a month or $5 if you're in the US. Oh, I almost forgot. You get pin badges about once a year, once every 6 months. Chris makes unique.
I'm due
Morrissey
to
and
make
Smith.
them very soon.
Yes, and we will deliver them all over the world as part of your package. Now, next, Chris, we have got the interview with Gavin.
Oh, yes, Gavin.
Gavin from the Cure podcast, which is called The Holy Hour All Cure podcast. It's been going for years. We're kindred spirits, really, me, Chris, and Gav, because we're doing basically the same thing, but he's doing about the Cure, we're doing about the Smiths and Morrissey. So we want to talk to him about that famous rivalry. Where did it all start, if anyone can remember? Is it true? Is it real?
It really a rivalry?
Yeah, and maybe is it better for pop music to have these rivalries? So let's say cheers, Chris.
Cheers,
We've got
George.
a tiny drop left. Cheers. Cheers to you at home, and let's have a chat with Gavin.
Let's do that.
Gavin, welcome to the Morrissey and Wine podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me on.
Well, thank you for coming. So we want to talk about the rivalry between the Smiths / Morrissey and the Cure / Robert Smith. Why do you think that it's always been not allowed to like both bands? Why is it that you had to choose one and not have the other? What do you think that's all about?
Yeah, it's tough. I think everyone likes to have people pitted against each other or different little armies there. But I know a lot of people, and myself included, that ignored the warning that you can't like both. So it's possible. I've proven over the years you can be a pretty passionate fan of both. But yeah, I think you always do end up leaning one side more than the other. And there are huge differences that people probably latch on to about both artists. But yeah, it's just a weird thing, and the rivalry has been a weird media thing, I think, is the bottom line over the years. That was, the dislike is probably there between the artists as far as just being a fan of each other, but not so much any real hatred or anything. So I say go ahead and like both. Dare the people, yeah.
Do you think there's anything in the fact that they're on similar patches, like that kind of depressed teenager thing? They're both sort of musking in on the same area. Do you think there's something in that?
Yeah, probably. I think it's just different ways of approaching the same, kind of music and the same audience. While it is weird to think because there are so many similarities, especially in those younger adolescent feelings that they both capture so well and giving those great voice to the outsider kind of thing. There's different ways of doing it. And I think, they are legit people I know that passionately love one and hate the other. But at the same time, the overlap is huge too. So I think, and that's when it gets back to them. I think it is more of a competition thing than a rivalry, especially when they're both in their alternative prime years, and people, the fact that they would bring up each other in interviews, like why even do that unless you're both at the top of the hill kind of thing, So at that point, I think that, yeah, if they're saying anything negative, it's more just out of competition than any like hatred for each other. So,
yeah, I get that. I think the next question is I've recently changed my hair a little bit, so I wanted to ask who has the best hairstyle? Is it Morrissey or Robert Smith?
yeah, it's a tough one. I think they're two of the greatest, I think that's a huge part of the charm too. Me personally, I guess, I don't know if it was I never had the guts as a kid to do the full Robert Smith, in high school with the goth hair and back combing and just walk in there and half your head takes up half the classroom. And part of me always wanted to do that, but I always leaned actually towards the Morrissey side. I had a pretty good Morrissey knockoff for many years, but now the years have caught up with me. But at the same time, so, I mean, as much as my Cure listeners would cringe, I have to go with Morrissey. It's a little more doable, I think it's tough to just be the guy at the grocery store with the giant Robert Smith hair.
Yeah, I think a lot of Morrissey fans would agree that with that side of things.
Yeah,
George actually used to have a very good Morrissey quiff.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Just to
Yeah,
embarrass you.
And before that, a big black backcombed Robert Smith hair and lipstick.
Yeah,
nice. So you've
yeah,
done them both, huh? Did you
yeah.
find that one was more comfortable? I always felt like the Robert one is also like if it gets hot or it starts dripping all the hairspray out, and it just starts flattening. It doesn't look as cool.
I
Did
mean,
you?
in fairness, I think Robert Smith was much easier because he just backcombed it in the morning.
Okay,
Hairspray,
and then
you didn't
just
have to
let
worry
it.
about it. The quiff is
Okay.
the quiff is quite an intricate beast, I think.
It's quite
Yeah,
sculpting above. And before that, George had the nice Tiny Tim Bob, didn't you? I think.
nice.
Do you think there's any just on that question? Do you think there's anything in that Robert Smith and Morrissey, when you talk about their hair, it's very, very, you can picture that. It's a constant, isn't it?
Yeah,
Whereas almost like, I mean, I'm just as bad for this, I suppose. But like if you think of Justin Bieber or someone more contemporary, that the hairstyle seems to change very, very often. Every
true.
it's like a thing, especially in the '90s. Hairstyles changes was a big thing, but obviously our two heroes didn't do that. They stuck.
Yeah,
They made a choice and stuck with it.
yeah, it is weird because yeah, you get like the little silhouette artistic thing,
Yeah,
like you can always spot the silhouette of either from a mile away. And and they do vary, I guess. Morrissey's more of just of how poofy it would be or what, and Robert would definitely change the geometrical shapes over the year, but it was always big and it was always the same kind of
yeah,
structures. Yeah, but I think that's a huge part of it. And maybe, yeah, that is kind of a huge part of their unspoken legacy, maybe, is that the cool image that you can associate with them. Because it wouldn't be the same at some point if Morrissey had like grunge rock hair, just out of nowhere. So, we'd all be like, I don't know, man. Even when Robert shaved his for like the Kiss Me era, it was like cute and cool for like one album, but and immediately went back. Even like by the end of that year, he was back. It's just kind of like a weird one off. So,
So, Gavin, in your deepest, darkest moment, when you're really depressed, do you turn to something like Disintegration by The Cure, or something like Viva Hate by Morrissey? Like in your heart, where does it go in those times?
yeah, it's tough. I've definitely spent many times turning to both, but I think I lean Cure in that sense because a lot of it for me is like Morrissey will lay down the lyrics a lot of times that get me where I need to be, but it's the music with the Cure, where I can just have those soundscapes and the 8 minute long songs and really just wallow in it. So I love that. And I think that usually kind of gets me through as far as, just really digging into the sorrowful moments. But, nobody says it better than Morrissey too, in a sense of I started out teaching middle grades for a while, and I found it very odd. It was like going back to the like sixth grade here, and when I was doing that, and I was miserable. The classes were terrible. The administration people weren't supporting me at all, and somehow I just went through this huge Morrissey fan at that point because that's what I was really listening to at that time. So it kind of reconnected. Maybe it's the whole school kind of thing, like headmaster's ritual thing or something about it. Just really identified more with it then, even than like Cure stuff. It's always more relationship based or something for me. So there's a time and place for both, I guess.
yeah. I can see that. The so next question. Why do you think the music of the Smiths, Morrissey, and The Cure appeal so much to teenagers? It seems like a new generation discovers them all the time. Obviously, we've all been there when we discovered them, but it does feel like a very teenage thing. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think it's just because it's such a difficult time emotionally. You're just growing up, you're getting weird feelings, you're getting everything seems like the world's against you. And, especially if you are that kind of kid, which a lot of people are, where you kind of feel like the outcast, even if you're not necessarily everybody, But at the same time, I think they just really capture that. Like I was saying, it's like kind of the voice of just for the misunderstood in a sense. And I think and they're kind of universal feelings. You could be any kind of kid going through whatever you're going through, and you're going to feel like that in your adolescence. And, and that never goes away too. Like depending on the generations, I think it's the same. That 13-year-old feeling is just as miserable now as it was, in the 80s. And I think it's a very common thing that you can still latch on to. And it's sadly getting older, it's kind of refreshing to see that kids are, not only getting into good music, but being able to identify with it. I'd be like, oh man, it's so sad. They're not sad anymore. Luckily, kids will always be sad. So, so
Who do you think out of the two of them? Because I'm thinking of The Cure with the goth subculture and Morrissey with the kind of not quite sure what his subculture will be called, but maybe indie. Who do you, who out of the two do you think has had the greatest impact on fashion?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's hard to say because I always kind of identify Morrissey with like kind of that classic 50s fashion more, kind of the James Dean style and stuff. Like even in the 90s, it was more that look of being able to like wear a t-shirt with jeans, and I just thought that was super cool. But Robert's always done like the weird comfy thing too, where it's just like this big sweater and big comfortable high tops and stuff like that. And I always loved that. So, but it's weird, you see. So I guess probably whether they know it or not, like same with the hairdo, the Morrissey one's a little easier to latch on to. I've in recent years even tried to get more Cure fashion things, and if you're just like a older dude without big hair and you're wearing a huge polka dot sweatshirt with like high tops, you just look kind of like a mental patient. But you could always wear jeans and a nice t-shirt. Or Marcy would always take it more with the like where you're snatching your mom's blouse or something, like, this looks pretty cool, I could pull this off. And I'm like going around at the ladies department store looking for a shiny gold shirt that could rip very easy or something, But yeah, so it's hard to say. But so probably Morrissey though, because I think if you strip it down to the basics, it's easier to pull that look off.
Yeah. Chris.
Yeah. So the next question is, do you think that Morrissey and Robert Smith really hate each other still?
Yeah, that's what we're getting at. I think is hate. I would say no, but even though they've probably said that in some of their many great vicious quotes back and forth, "Well, I hate him," but I really don't think that they're losing any sleep over each other, especially now. Um, I think they just might hear things that certain one or the other will say and they go, ugh, and disagree or whatever. But yeah, I don't think there's any deep hatred. Marcy had a quote fairly recently where he even sort of apologized, and I think Robert hasn't brought him up in years. So I don't think they have any real reason to dig it up at this point.
I think
There was
I think your point, Gavin, at the start, where like they don't lose sleep over it. I think that's very. I think like we touched
yeah,
on before around, it's probably quite manufactured, and they probably
yeah,
don't lose sleep on this kind of thing, really. So
yeah. I
I mean,
think
it's
it
fun for us. It's fun for fans to have something to talk about, some sort of extra bit
right.
to do. But really, I don't think it means a lot, does it?
Nah, so yeah, I don't think it, and I think media wise, they throw those quotes at each other just to have the hot headline there. And I think if they see each other at a bar, even they probably wouldn't necessarily want to walk up to each other and hang out or even have a beer. But I don't think they're gonna duke it out in the alleyway, as they say. So I really don't think it. Especially as they've gotten older, hopefully they would be more chill about it and not even really care if they were both on the same festival bill or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't, at the same time, I don't really see either of them probably listening secretly being a fan, going home and putting on one of their records or something, But But
If
yeah.
they did go in the street outside the pub, who would win? Who would win
Ooh,
the
hard to
fight?
say. They're both I'd have to go with Robert. I think he's got a secret athletic side that he was a big footballer in his youth and stuff.
Okay,
And
yeah.
so yeah, but I don't know. Morrissey was all into boxing and stuff for a while. I'm not sure how much he took away from that. So
I imagine it was just as a spectator. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's why everyone kind of fantasizes of the idea for so long. I'm like, who would really win? But but yeah, a lot of hair pulling going, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. See
But
that.
So I'm thinking back to film footage of Morrissey dancing with the Smiths. Very strange kind of dancing, and I'm trying to think of times when I've seen Robert Smith dancing, and I can't so much. So who has the better dance moves? Does Robert dance on the stage
ooh,
very much?
not much, but what he does, it's more of like a arms just wiggling around kind of thing, and then he does a little bopping around thing when he does the songs where he doesn't play guitar on. So I don't think neither of them are what you would call a traditionally great dancer, probably, but it works wonderful for their music. And yeah, I mean, I think the average person would probably say Morrissey could cut loose better if he was just like at a club dancing, like not necessarily how he danced to his own music even, but just like he's got the arms, especially, yeah, in his younger days when he's shaking the hips more and stuff. I could see him probably being considered a better dancer, but I guess I identify with Robert's dancing more though, because I'm dreadful at dancing, and pretty much if it does come to that, I just do my best Robert Smith dance and fling your arms around too. But he's almost just like a lot slower version of Morrissey's dance too. Usually Morrissey usually got the microphone going and everything too, but Roberts is just a little more wibble wobble there. So
You've been pretty generous to Morrissey on this.
yeah, no, gotta know
We
your
were
audience.
we were maybe, yeah, exactly. Yeah, just hope your audience doesn't hear this,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
yeah, we were expecting a bit more of a comeback. But
Yeah,
I just
sorry.
wanted to ask as well, who who do you think had the greater impact on modern culture? You know, wider modern culture, either the Smiths or the Cure.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, they're both so huge to me. I feel like I'm biased either way, like, or I feel like if anybody or music fan or musician wasn't influenced by both, then you're either lying or missing the mark entirely. So, I mean, I have to go with the Cure there just because they're the closest to my heart there, and I feel like everything in my life is defined in some weird form or another by the Cure. So, musically, even I just feel like they've probably covered more ground too, in the sense of like they've gone real dark, and then they have stuff like Friday I'm in Love that people at the department store would even know and tap their foot to that and be fine with. I feel like Morrissey, you're either kind of in or you're not, and so I guess for those points, I have to go with my boys, The Cure. So
That's fair. And so, if we were to send you off to a desert island and you could only take one Cure album and one Morrissey slash Smith's album, which would
ooh.
you choose?
Well, they would definitely be in my top fives, so that works out good for me at least. So I can take one of each at least. I guess I have to go with Disintegration for The Cure. Just never gets old for some reason, and even if I am in a good mood on a desert island, I could figure out a way to embrace disintegration, even if it's not raining. I can still enjoy it. For my Morrissey, it has to be a Morrissey or Smiths. Can I break the
You can bend the
uh,
rules.
get one Morrissey, one Smiths, maybe?
Sure, sure.
All right. And normally I'd say Louder Than Bombs, but I disqualify myself too because it's kind of a compilation more. Does that not count? It has to be a proper album.
I think you can have Louder Than Bombs. That's my favorite as well.
Okay, yeah, I go with that one. It's just packed full of so many good ones, covers the whole spectrum too. You got the super sad ones and then the fun rockers too. So that was kind of the first one that, I mean, I feel like Queen is Dead is like the short and concise, perfect, album, but I'd go with Larry and Bombs just to get more bang for the buck since I only have these three albums now. For Morrissey, my oh man, it's always tough. I think I have to go with Your Arsenal, actually. That one just really hit at the right time for me, and just has all the cool riffs, and the real sad ones are great on that. I probably still listen to like Viva Hate or Vauxhall and I a bit more, but like Your Arsenal's kind of the one that hits home the most for me, and I love it. So yeah, you got that rocker one and the Smiths, Disintegration. I think I'm set.
Jim, I want your Desert Island discs. They sound really good.
Yeah. Be
Well,
good.
that about wraps up everything we wanted to ask you, Gavin. Thank you for giving us a chance to talk about The Cure and the Smiths and Morrissey in the same conversation.
Yeah, thanks for opening the door. I feel like people are getting to embrace both more, hopefully, and letting
Right.
themselves do it. And who knows, maybe someday soon, still, we could have that dream collaboration between Morrissey and Robert. I wouldn't hold my breath, but
No, I won't.
we can always hope.
Well, thank you for joining us on the podcast, Gavin, and we'll speak
Yeah,
soon.
thanks so much for having me. Hope to see you
Thank you.
soon. Thanks, guys.
Now we're going to go into If You Love Morrissey, You'll Love This. So I'll go first. My recommendation is food related again.
Food. Always food with you, Christopher.
Well, what can I say? I do love food.
You do.
This is a vegan burger place in Los Angeles or in America generally. I think
They have them all over.
I think just in California.
Oh, okay.
In the sort of, I don't think you get a vegan burger place in Tennessee. I don't know.
But you can.
Probably. I mean, these days, anything. So basically, it's called Monty's Good Burger. I was introduced to it in about 2018 by my friend Ben, who's from Los Angeles, who I met through Morrissey. I visited the first time ever. It was an amazing trip. I love Los Angeles, America, and they do all. It's sort of like tours in England. It's kind of like a McDonald's-y thing, but it's all vegan.
Okay.
And they do really good vegan burgers, like fake chicken, fake beef, tater tots, which is big in America. They don't have chips.
I first heard of tater tots on Napoleon Dynamite. Have you seen that film?
No, I haven't. No.
Oh, it's really good. Very funny. And he's obsessed with tater tots.
Tater tots. I'm not keen. I prefer the good old chip.
Yeah.
I think they should do chip. Well, they do fries, but they're not the same. So they do all that. They do vegan shakes. I think they even do their own beer now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it's the one I've been to is in Echo Park, which for me, I think I was there in October. It's just a worlds apart from Manchester in October.
Yeah.
I've actually got a picture of the one of the burgers.
Oh, wow.
So you can see that. I mean, you probably can't see it at home, but they've got an Instagram page. So if you find yourself in LA, I recommend they do like a fake chicken burger, which is really good.
And what's that called, the place?
It's called Monty's Good Burger.
Monty's Good Burger.
And it's a vegan fast food place. It says it's run by Monty, who's a dog.
Okay. Doesn't sound like a very good business strategy.
But sorry, the other reason I mention it now is because obviously, a lot of Morrissey fans are vegan or vegetarian, and it's a big part of the Morrissey world. But also, when you go there, they have these big posters on the wall of a famous, it's like vegan club. And there's different people on there. Morrissey's obviously on there.
Oh, cool.
And other famous vegans. But it's really good food.
Very nice. Okay. Well, I'd like to try it when I next go to America.
Yeah, maybe you could try it at some point.
Kind of
like America, don't you?
Yeah, I'm holding out for the president to change, but it could get even worse.
You might get Vance next. Who knows? could get worse. So, what's your recommendation, George?
Well, mine is a radio show. It's called The Shuttleworths.
Oh,
right?
you've asked me to listen to this.
Yes, I've sent it to you.
I've already been pre-recommended this.
So, right, this is a BBC show called The Shuttleworths. It started, I believe, in the 90s. It's been around for ages, and there's loads of series to listen to on BBC Sounds. I know you can't get BBC Sounds outside of the UK, but perhaps if you Google The Shuttleworths, and it's written and performed by Graham Fellows. So if you just Google that, you might be able to find it. It's just, it's so good. It's Graham Fellows is pretending to be this old man. So he puts on an old man voice. Old man from Sheffield. So you can imagine, so that obviously that's Pulp's hometown, and they've got a strong kind of northerny accent.
Sort of South Yorkshire, an accent, yeah.
And he is an amateur singer-songwriter. old man who's still clinging to this dream of being a singer-songwriter, and he's in his little studio in his house that he's made himself. And that's the conceit, but he leaves the microphones on, and his wife will pop in to have a chat with him, or his friend will come around and say, "Oh, do you want to go to Dronfield and have a pint?" You know, and that's another thing. Like Dronfield is a place in Derbyshire, and they do reference little places that are not that far from where I live. You know, but it's I just think it's a very English thing, very British English thing. It's a character study. It's a strange person. And it's about the ordinariness of life, because
Sounds a bit Alan Partridge in some ways, maybe.
it's a bit Alan Partridge. It's a bit Alan Bennett as well.
Okay, there's a good mix. Good, the two Allens in my life.
The AA battery. Yeah, and it's as I say, it's very ordinary. There's no big plot. You know, it's not like at some point a train crashes into his house or he goes skydiving. It's all about just having a pint, or we need to book in for the doctors tomorrow and have a little chat about that. But there's something so sweet about this guy, because obviously he has a dream, and you do hear his songs that he does, and they're quite funny. They're like comedy songs, but obviously he doesn't mean them as comedy songs.
Yeah.
The character, obviously the creator, Graham Fellows, does. And Graham Fellows still does live shows.
Yeah, you went recently.
Well, my friend Jack told me about this guy, because he had just gone to Nottingham to see Graham Fellows, and so yeah, he's still around and he's still doing stuff. So I think if you like the power of the ordinary, and you like a slightly strange sense of humour, and maybe a bit of radio comedy, because it's not so popular these days, check out The Shuttleworths by Graham Fellows.
I think that's a really good recommendation, because the power of the ordinary is very Morrissey in a way, because you know the songs are about very ordinary things, but making the ordinary glamorous in a way, or sort of exciting, and yeah, I like that. That's a good link.
Well, you'll have to listen to it and let me know what you think.
But yeah, so I've downloaded it on BBC Sounds.
BBC Sounds. On your speaker, on your smartphone.
It's funny how you can't get BBC Sounds in America, because in England you have to have a license to do it, but it's like you just have to press "I have a license." There's no firewall, but honesty box.
Yeah, they should do an honesty box. So that about wraps up this episode of Morrissey and Wine. We are off now to record Chris and George Off Mic, which is our bonus episode.
Yep.
For Patreon subscribers. So check out that Patreon if you want to get a bit more involved in this podcast and get those benefits, and supporters, you know, because all that membership money, and you know, there's not loads of members in there, but that money goes towards running the podcast. It just means that we're not out of pocket. We can break even with what we're doing
and keep doing it as well, which we enjoy doing.
Yes, there's a great way to support us if you're interested in that. You can also check out our Substack. That's an area that we're moving into for longer written articles about Morrissey and Smith. So we're both going to be doing those.
You've put some articles out already, haven't you?
Yes, yeah, you can find those on Substack. So we shall leave it there, and I'll say cheers, Chris. Oh, bloody hell, you've almost finished that wine.
Silly.
And cheers to you at home.
Cheers.
God bless. Godspeed.
Oh, and George, one more thing.
Yes.
Love the cap.
You couldn't let it go, could you? I couldn't get my hair quite right today, so I've put on a cap.
His hot water stopped working. He couldn't wash his hair, so he's worn the cap.
And if you know what this cap signifies, I imagine our American listeners will.
Be for bastard.
Anyway, okay, cheers, Chris. Godspeed. God bless Morrissey.
God bless Morrissey.
Cheers to you at home. Ciao, ciao for now.